So you've probably heard the term budget in accounting, and as you progress through your business journey, I really recommend that you set annual budgets. Now, you may have done a budget as part of your startup business plan. You may, if you've had to, if you've done any loan application, startup loan or anything, you would have put together a little bit of a budget then for that. And it's all basically looking at projections, what you project for sales and what you project for your outgoings. When you're at the beginning of the journey, it may be really hard to predict that because you don't know what costs are going to be coming up. You don't know what sales are going to come in and when. As you go along on your business journey, it is easier to predict these things, especially if you're more of a recurring revenue model. It's a lot harder if you're one-off sales because it's hard to predict when you're going to have those sales until you've been in business a couple of years and you can see trends and things like that. However, it is really good to try and at least set some targets around your spending and around your sales, what you're looking to do. So you'll probably start off with a budget that's quite basic. And then over the years, you'll probably get a bit more complicated and probably want your accountant to help you with that as well. Your accountant can help you with budgeting from day one and put things together for you. And it can be something that you can tweak as you go. So it's not a case of you set it and that's it. You can tweak it as you go. So you can use this even if your accountant has set you a budget. If you've already done a budget as part of some cash flow projections or as part of some funding, you can add that in as well. So we're going to come down to Budget Manager, and this is where you've got your budget. One thing I really like in here is it does put in gives you some actuals to work with, so you can use that as a basis to get you going if you're not quite sure what you're doing. Let's move this out the way. Now, if you've already got a budget because you've done it as a different exercise, then you can import that in. What you may need to do or will need to do is put it in the right template. So you can download the template here, and that can go into a CSV file, into Google Sheets, and you can populate your data and bring it in. Or you can build it out in here. Now, I personally find it easier to download a template and do it in Excel first and then throw it in and then tweak it once it's in here, but it completely depends on how you find things. So we're going to do it for a year, and I'm just going to put in some projections here. So we can see the sales here has really grown. Actually, we're going to start it in May. Oops. Because we've got some actual data for April as well. So pop that in here. So we're going to use this as a basis. So what we want to do is we want to put all the sales types in. So to date, we've just been sales type A, and we can see that's improved quite a bit, and we want to keep going with that. So I'm going to put a budget of 15,000, and I want to increase it every month by 10%. So that automatically is giving me a 10% uplift every month towards the end of the year. Now, to note, that total is the 12 months plus these 3 months here. So it's not going to be the full year. That's a 15-month period. And then I'd fill that out from here. So CIS labour we know was 250 this month already. That could be a bit more. So let's put in 500. And I want to step that up each month by £50. Or it could be, you know, that you are going to increase it not at all initially, and then in a busy period it's more, and then it drops down again, and it could drop even lower on a really low month, and you can plug it in that way. As a minimum, I think get these sales in. I'm actually going to change this now so we can look at some actuals versus So otherwise it's not going to give us much detail when we come into the next bit, and I want to show you that as well. So that's got some information in. I'm going to increase these though. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some expenses as well. So I'm just going to keep that going by 5%. And I'm going to put in the marketing. So, and that's quite constant, so I've just signed a new contract at £2,500 a month. And yeah, I'm just gonna pop some random bits in. But basically you would come in here and you would build all this out as to what you believe your costs are going to be. Director's remuneration is 1,047 a month. And like your accounts fees, you know what they are because they're standard month, because you work with an accountant that gives you fixed monthly fees. And again, populate all of this out and then save it. You can then come into here and look at the budget summary. And you can see your budget for the year broken down. And then you can see your rough idea of net profit down the bottom. Obviously this is way out because I've not put much expenses in and it's not quite there yet. But anyway, you get the idea. You'll be able to run off a report of this. And what you'll also see is, going back to that watch list, you can add in the budgets column. So you can see how you're doing compared to your budget. So this is when things get a little bit more interesting. So you're not just tracking where you're at month to date and year to date, you're actually tracking it now month to date against your budget for the month as well. So that's setting up the budget manager. Go and have a play, go and set yourself a budget and see how you get on.